Welcome back to TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hi.
We're here for episode 3 of Insert Current Season Here, and we're going to watch 2010's Night and Day. There's a couple of movies in this season that we're taking on faith that they are romantic comedies, and I think this is the one that I feel least sure about that it's guaranteed it's a romantic comedy. So if this turns out to be like a fun action shooting romp, I guess we shouldn't be too surprised since it stars one Mr. Tom Cruise. But we will see, I guess.
So you haven't seen this, is what I'm hearing.
I definitely have not. I've always wanted to, because it seems like a fun pairing between him and Cameron Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen her in anything in a while that I can think of.
Charlie's Angels.
Saw that for sure.
Not American Pie, the other one. There's Something About Mary.
I've seen that for sure, yep.
I think that's all I've seen her in except for this.
I saw the two of them in Vanilla Sky.
Dude, Shrek. Duh.
Shrek, of course, yeah, that's true. Well, let me see what the most recent thing that I have seen her in. What to Expect When You're Expecting came out in 2012. I saw that for sure. And I think that's it.
Oh, I'm gonna hit the more button to get back to the last thing I saw her in, which was this.
Okay. Okay. Also looking at her Wikipedia page, there's a gap between 2014 and 2024 when she was in nothing. So I did not realize that. So have you seen Night and Day?
I have. A long time ago, but I have seen it.
Okay. Did you see Vanilla Sky?
No.
Okay. Couldn't be more thematically different here.
100%. I also understand that Vanilla Sky is probably of the two the one I should have seen.
Probably, yeah. It's interesting because I feel like when this movie came out, I sort of had it on my radar as like, oh, that seems kind of fun. I probably saw a trailer or two when it was revving up to be released. I don't remember anything about any of that. And then it's one of those movies where it's kind of in the middle for me. Like, I wasn't super hyped to see it, so I'm not going to go race out to see it. It doesn't look like unwatchable trash, so I'm not going to race out and see it. It's in that comfortable middle ground of like
the long shot.
Yeah, where it's like, yeah, that looks all right. I could go watch that. Sure. Why not? And that I just never did, unfortunately.
So let's set the bar real low right off the bat.
Okay.
12 writers worked on this movie.
12? Woof.
Only one got credited. Wasn't even an ampersand or an and situation.
Oh, boy. Et al? Nothing like that? Just...
Nope.
This dude and friends. Don't worry about his friends.
Yeah, this has had a constant cycling of who was attached to it.
Okay.
Including Chris Tucker, Eva Mendes, Adam Sandler, Gerard Butler.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got some roughness behind the scenes.
It sounds like it. It also seems like one of those movies that would have at least one series of reshoots and then be edited to an inch of its life and then come out being sort of like, yeah, the studio messed with that one. Yeah. Okay.
What are we thinking, Boston?
I think the audience is just hearing my level of hesitation going into this. I mean, I like Tom Cruise, obviously, because we've watched probably like 35 movies of his in Critical Misses so far. I like Cameron Diaz. So I feel like from an acting standpoint, it'll probably be pretty okay. And I'm sure there'll be like an actor or two in there. This is 2010, so probably somebody who's pretty famous now, where I get to do the pointing the screen like, oh, they're in this, yeah, let's go. Um, but other than that, I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what this is, but I'm concerned about what it will be. Which is,
I mean, it's an appropriate thing to say. I would argue.
certainly the most exciting feelings going into something. Just like we'll see, I guess. Question mark. I don't know.
It has some surprising people in it other than the two leads. I will say that.
Okay.
Minor continuation from previous season. It has a Skarsgård.
Yes, I love a Skarsgård. Why not?
I don't know if he's related to the other Skarsgård, but he's a Skarsgård.
We're all related to Skarsgård, aren't we?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. On that note, let's go watch the film.
Yup.
Welcome back. We're back from the film. From the night and the day.
Oh, I was gonna say it's been a night and a day since we last spoke. I hate you.
Got it. We both got it. We're here after watching this film here. I forgot to open up one specific website here because there were some peeps in this movie that I certainly was not expecting. I got to give a big shout out to Viola Davis as yet another portrayal of the leader of a 3-letter organization.
Uh-huh.
You need someone who's going to be disappointed / mad / telling you to sort some stuff out. Get Viola Davis in there.
If memory serves, isn't this the same Viola Davis who is actually technically the leader of Rainbow Six?
And the leader of the Suicide Squad? Yep.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? Does a great job. She kills it in everything. Doing a great job here.
I mean, is she typecast? I don't know. But
yeah,
it works.
Yeah. Gal Gadot shows up here for a scene.
Uh-huh.
Which
I was like, wait, is that who I think it is? Is that Gal Gadot? Like, really?
Gal Gadot speaking German.
100% it is.
Yep. Just it's interesting to see her in this movie as like, I need a hot lady to meet with Tom Cruise. Oh, here we go. We'll just get going.
Yeah.
She's in here for 5 minutes. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
And big shout out to Paul Dano, who I love and is not in nearly enough stuff.
A person who, like, I had zero. It takes a while for me to understand to get people's names, and even when I still get people's names, I will constantly forget their names.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of my weird brain thing where I can't like connect names and faces. The guy who played Commissioner Gordon in the Batman trilogy, one of my favorite actors of all time, can never remember his name. You know who I'm talking about.
I know, and he's like the most famous actor, and I always forget his name, even though I love The Fifth Element.
Yep, he's in that. He's also in Leon as the Send Everyone scene, which is one of the best scenes in that movie.
The Fifth Element.
Gary Oldman.
Thank you. Someone's going to yell at us about like the most famous act. It's one of those things where like someone is like, I can't remember this person's name. And as soon as you say it, that just poof right out of my brain.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So Paul Dano is one of those people who like I didn't know the name of.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched The Batman, which is on our list of things to watch.
Well, he's also in Critical Misses' favorite, Looper.
Uh-huh. Which I didn't know because I didn't connect his face to that thing. Because he's the bumbling. He's not the bumbling idiot. He's the guy at the start he's the friend who dies right at the beginning.
Yep. Yeah.
And I never put him together, but then I saw the Batman. I was like, I need to pay attention to this guy because, like,
yep,
his performance in that movie is insanely good.
Yeah.
And then now I go back and it's like, oh, there he is. He's
There he
great.
is.
Oh, there he is. He's
Yeah.
great. Oh, there he is. He's great.
Unfortunately, a little wasted in this movie because he's supposed to be the like the
Boy
like
genius.
yeah, the boy genius, sort of like tortured, introverted sort of guy. Also, following on last season, we have a Sarsgaard in this, Peter Sarsgaard, as
Yeah, but he's not a
Agent.
Skarsgård, so I don't know if it's the same family or not.
Maybe not, but I would tell people, I'd be like, yeah, I'm with them, you know. I gotta get this out of the way here at the beginning.
Do we have a vibe check? Is this a vibe check moment?
With this movie. I had a hell of a lot of fun.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting this to be anything good, and I had a blast.
So the first time I saw this movie, I really genuinely liked it. I thought it was like a really good, stupid action rom-com kind of mix.
Yep.
This time while I was watching it, I couldn't help but think that the first half is so much better than the second half. Like that first half is really, really strong.
The like series of meet cutes.
Yeah, the series of meet cutes, the Strange in a Strange Land, all that kind of stuff. Like that, I think, is the real powerhouse session of this movie. One of my favorite lines is "Nobody move, or I'll kill myself and then her," which is just chef's kiss golden delivery.
Everybody gets pie. Everyone gets pie. No ice cream though. And like that, I think a big part of it is. So a big part of, the thing we talk about every time we have a romantic comedy season is you have to have that chemistry between the two or more lead actors. And you get like two of the most charismatic people on film in Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz, and they just kind of smile that like megawatt smile at each other.
They both have those smiles. Like they both legitimately have that type of smile.
And it kind of works. Like they're both charming at each other. You kind of feel it. But the thing that I was most surprised about in this movie is we get all the Tom Cruise hallmarks. He runs across a roof. He's shooting a bunch of guns.
He does his own stunts.
He rides a motorcycle and it turns it around in like a group of
I was going to say,
bulls.
last time we saw Tom Cruise in a red motorcycle, it was goofy but fun goofy. This time it's goofy and fun goofy again. Like it's...
And I think as much as we get all of that normal stuff, I think the thing that surprised me the most is he has really good comedic timing in this. Like he's genuinely really funny.
This is something I wanted to talk about because I think the difference between this Tom Cruise and the Ethan Tom Cruise we have seen in the Mission Impossible season is he's not serious. He's not like the end of the world is at stake kind of serious. Yep. He's just like, he says later, like, I don't believe in fate, but I do believe in luck. And he is one of the luckiest secret agents that has ever existed. Because, like, so the car sequence, the car chase, the first car chase that we get in the movie where she's being taken and he's trying to rescue her from the FBI or the CIA, whoever it is.
Is this the June open the door scene? The sequence?
Yes.
Okay.
He's never yelling. He's always like calm and collected in his delivery. He's always smiling, even when he's literally riding on top of a car. But the sequence where her car gets crashed into while he's on the roof, and he goes flying off the edge of an overpass and lands on an SUV, and then as he goes, he rides to the top of the SUV, and just as he's about to jump again, he face plants into the side of like an ice cream van, and then lands in a convertible.
Like I really love that shot of him riding on this SUV, and it's slowly coming up that ramp.
Escalator truck.
Yeah, like just doing that, and then just like, but like there's also the little scenes in almost everything where he's like trying to help her, and then he kind of starts to go away and then comes back, and he's like, I need you to do this, or oh, here's a gun, or here's something. Like there's this kind of magnetism to their relationship that I think I really like, even as 50 dudes in assault gear are shooting at them, or she's unloading a whole clip into him.
Yeah. Like, you're in shock. I'm just going to go have a conversation with the people in the tunnel, okay? I'm just going to shoot them instead. Is that okay? Oh.
Like when they're both sitting in that plane after he kills everybody in the plane, and he's like, "Oh, they're all dead."
Oh, I killed the pilots.
Yeah, she's like, "How did they die?" He's like,
Hold on, hold on. This might be my favorite line of hers in the entire movie because I wrote it down.
mm.
She comes out of the bathroom and he's got 2 drinks. He's like, "Oh, I thought I'd join you." And he's like, "Oh, okay, so I got some bad news. We lost the pilots." And her response is, "Where did they go?"
It's pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Like, and I like the slow unfolding of like, well, they were shot. Actually, I shot them. I killed them. Oh, well, I only killed one, and then the other one accidentally shot the other one. And she's just like, oh, okay. And like in the background, the door is flapping, and she's just like, oh, oh no, actually. And then when the plane keels and all the dead people fall out of the seat, and it's just like,
yes,
that's pretty good. Oh my god. But like
this is what I mean is all of the time he's doing this, like when he's talking to his secret agent buddy or he's trying to interrogate people, he goes into serious secret agent mode. Anytime he's around her and just talking to her or like accommodating the society at large, he's just like, yeah, it is what it is. I'm just gonna smile and crack jokes all the way through it.
When they get captured by the Spanish mercenaries and he's hanging upside down and like pacing his speech.
We'll be okay in a little bit. We'll be out of here in a few minutes.
It's so good, and like
so the funny thing is that's the Thor Ragnarok opening scene when he's on a chain and he's spinning around, and every time he faces the guy, he's saying stuff. And it's like, oh, you 100% got that from Night and Day. Like, that's 1,000% where this is from. Because it's so good, because it's like a drug-addled haze, and it's just him, like, speaking as he does it. There were things in this movie I did have a problem with. Him constantly drugging her is one of the things I had a problem with.
Yeah, and thankfully the movie at least has her push back on it. I'm not sure strongly enough, but it's sort of like, hey, like hitting him with a rolled up newspaper and like, hey, stop drugging me, dude, come on, bro.
And then his solution to that is to do like a nerve pinch and knock her out
so
that
like
way
instead. The Vulcan death grip on her.
It's like, well, you asked me to stop drugging you, so here we go, I guess.
Yeah, I think one of my larger problems in this movie is actually something that I think would be solved with a montage, is that I wish that there was like a training montage for her of, obviously she's sort of picking stuff up as they're on their adventures, but like it's a fun twist at the end that she rescues him, but I wish that there was and like I wish there was a little bit more of a training montage about like her getting those skills, because I think it's fun, but it's like, obviously I'm not expecting the most realistic depiction of spy work here in this 2010 romantic comedy summer, popcorn flick, but I think it was sort of missing a little bit, because it would be a fun scene of him teaching her how to do this stuff as they kind of fall in love with each other.
Yeah, you get the smallest bit of that when they're on the island, which I like the fact that he just has a private island that's like 10 feet wide.
Yep.
And it gives a little bit of explanation, because he's like, yeah, my dad wanted boys. It's like he's got 2 kids, both girls. He wanted boys, and she's the one who can fight. She's the car mechanic.
Right.
Which I think is a very interesting profession. The fact that she's like flying around the country to get parts for these like really old cars that she's restoring. One specifically, which was her dad's, essentially, or the one they worked on with the dad. And I like the fact that they flipped the thing of like she has no idea who her sister has become, because her sister's like, yeah, we should sell the car because we need our own place.
Yeah, that old junker. Let's just get rid of it. She's like, oh, I was present for you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh boy.
And it's a good moment near the end of the movie where she's like, yeah, I'm just going to give them the house. I'll keep the car. They can just have the house.
Yeah. What do I need a house for? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is a lot of payoff in this. Like, there's a lot of Chekhov's writing lines. I do like the fact that like the plane is fully booked, and then when she gets on the plane, there's like 6 people on it. Is a good little sequence.
Yeah. It's no wonder why they're going out of business. Nobody on this plane. It's just like, oh, you don't realize that there's something going on here. Okay, cool.
Yep. And the fact that when he says to her later on, like, I told you to stay off the plane, she's like, no, you didn't. So yeah, I said some things are meant to be. That was me warning you to not get on the plane. It's like, no, if you're trying to keep someone off the plane, you say, hey, June, don't get on the plane.
And like, I like June as a character overall. I was really worried. So like the intro of this movie is her like waist deep in a car and like pulling parts out of it. And I was really worried that she was going to have some annoying accent throughout the entire movie, because like that's how it sounded in the intro. And I was like, please don't have Cameron Diaz put on an accent and like gallivant with Tom Cruise around this whole thing. Like, you're gonna ruin this. And thankfully they didn't. That was a pretty...
Well, you didn't want like I'm fixing cars here.
Yeah, hey, I'm fixing it here. Like, yeah, or like some Boston accent or something. And be like, please no, please God. And
the go ahead.
Oh, I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Like, I think my favorite thing about her character is how much she does by accident, which is actually very true to life kind of thing. When she does she's fighting the hitman in the kitchen car.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
In the train. Yeah. When she literally uses the thing that she was taught about getting out of that kind of grip.
The Houdini
and when
hands.
She slams her arms down, and when she slams her arm down, she hits a knife that's on like the kitchen counter and stabs a dude in the chest.
It's such a good shot too, because like it's fast enough that you're like, wait, what just happened? And it shows that it coming out of his chest, and you're like, oh no. And
then the dude just pulls it out, and she's like, that was disgusting. Like, that's disgusting.
Her reaction is so good of just like, oh, that's disgusting. Like, it's not even like, because I feel like most movies be like, what are you? And she's like, ew, gross. It's like, that's a much more realistic reaction to that.
Yes. Yeah. I know she's pretty solid throughout. Like, so I think that the problem with this movie, like the problem I have with it upon this watching, is it really slows down in that second hour. Like, this is an hour and 57 minutes. This could be a fast 90, and it would be, in my opinion, a quicker and better movie kind of thing. There's a lot of sequences in here which just kind of slow the pace down a little bit too much. I do like we said, Peter, is it?
Yeah, Peter Sarsgaard.
No, Simon Feck, Paul Dano's character.
Yeah.
He's only in it a little bit, but every time he's in it, I genuinely like him in it. And he does a good job of...
I like that being the thing he invented was like the small city powering battery Zephyr thing. Like, I like that it's not it's kind of a bit like nuclear fusion. It's fission, I should say. It's not an inherently bad thing, right?
But you can see it be a very bad thing.
Well, and I appreciate that it wasn't a bioweapon. It's not a vial of this thing that will kill everyone. It's just like, no, man, it's like the best battery that to power this, and the bad guys want it for what? I don't know. Don't worry about it. It reminded me a lot of Top Gun Maverick, where it's like, yeah, the bad guys, don't worry about where they're from. They're bad. Just specifics don't really matter.
They're from a place.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you didn't want it to be a Bellerophon, and then I remember Bellerophon is the cure, not the disease.
Right.
Chimera was the disease.
Chimera.
There we go.
Right.
It took me a second, but I got that.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm impressed you remembered Bellerophon. That's the harder one.
That's the thing I remember from that movie. Is that true. One thing?
It's true. But like for me watching this, it's so easy, especially with us having done an entire season of the Mission Impossible movies. It's really easy to make a comparison between those two. And he shows, I think, great action movie chops in this movie as well. Like the shooting and the running is great. The driving is really great. Like it's kind of the stuff that you want to see Tom Cruise doing in movies. And then it's also
action. The comedy is in the action parts too.
Yeah, which we don't get
like
that much anymore.
You don't get that in any of his other movies, period.
Well, yeah,
this reminds me a little bit of like the Jackie Chan heyday. Yes. Where it's an action movie, but there is comedy in the action scenes. Like you can do funny bits while you're doing the action. Like the car chase scene, the entire sequence at the beginning of the car chase scene, where there is huge stunts happening and they're like off camera or slightly to the side. Mm-hmm. Like there's a bit where the camera is in the back of June's car looking at June, mm-hmm. and it pans slightly. And in the side of the shot, you see a car hit a barricade and barrel roll into the air, and then it cuts.
Yep.
It cuts.
And
it doesn't show the land. It doesn't show anything else.
Yep.
It literally, it's this chaotic stunt thing happening to the side.
Right.
Like the motorbike jumping through the air, and then you see the bike come off the front, and mm-hmm. someone lands on the top of the car.
That's a great shot.
It's a big stunt that you're only seeing literally a tiny little section of it.
And I like watching this. It reminds me how much the MCU stuff is really poisoned action movies, because you're supposed to see the entire big, huge action piece, and then someone goes, "Whoa, can you believe that just happened?" And like in this, it's just like the one of the action scenes I really like is in that first car chase where June finally opens the door, and then it gets removed from the car and flies backwards and hits one of the
into
CIA.
The SUV.
Yeah, like one of the SUVs. And he brings it up
like
later.
It destroys it.
Yeah.
Like it smashes straight into that windshield. That car goes careening off.
And they only show it for like a couple of seconds, but he brings it up later about like, June, I can't believe that was an incredible shot. Like that was an excellent. The timing was
perfect. You saved us, just so you know.
Yeah, and she was just like, wait, what? Anyways, like they brought it up in a way that I thought was kind of funny, and then just kind of kept moving with it, and that was pretty impressive. And
one of my favorite like comedy action bits in this is actually based off a mistake that Tom Cruise experienced while filming Mission Impossible. Funnily enough. So you remember in the first Mission Impossible, there's the fish tank in the background, and it blows up, and he runs out of the restaurant with the fish tank coming out behind him, kind of thing. In that sequence, Tom Cruise was talking to the stunt coordinator, and the stunt coordinator is like, "Okay, so on 3, you go. That's when everything's going to blow up." And then the stunt coordinator goes, 3, 2, and Tom Cruise stops and like, "Wait. You said go on 3, and you started with 3.
Right. You can't start with 3, man.
What do I go on?" And he used that as an inspiration for the bit where they're in like the warehouse, mm-hmm. and he's like, "Okay, I'm on go, or on 1, we're gonna run to those shelves over there." And he goes 3, and she runs out, gets fired at, screaming, runs back in, and is like, "Sorry, I panicked."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, what number do you want to go on?"
There's such good delivery of that line specifically, where I'm like, all right, you get what this movie's supposed to be. Like, mm-hmm. I love a movie that knows exactly what it is and what it should be. Like, this isn't a Mission Impossible movie. This isn't like a slapstick comedy movie. It's this kind of big, fun popcorn movie that people are going to watch, and they're going to have a good time, and they're going to have some laughs, and they're going to watch some stuff blow up. And like, that's all it really needs to be. And I think it succeeds in that really well. Like, the soundtrack is pretty okay. Cinematography is actually pretty good. It's just like, it's just a solid movie that was a lot of fun. And I'm frustrated because I feel like we don't get a ton of these anymore.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
The the sequence where she gets taken by the Italian arms dealers and gets like a new version of the truth drug put into her.
It's so good.
It's a really good sequence. Like
Mm-hmm.
she very aptly portrays somebody who has kind of been drugged quite significantly, and is just constantly spouting stuff.
Yep.
It's like it's a really solid sequence.
When she introduces him to, what is his name, Eduardo, or something like that. And she's like, "That's Eduardo," and Tom Cruise turns to him and goes, "Eduardo," and then like gives him the lowdown of what he needs to tell him. It's like, that's really good. You have this good comedic dialogue timing. You have this comedic action timing. You have kind of this stuff that we're not filmmakers, which is why we're making the show. But like that stuff seems like it has to be the hardest stuff to nail down, is that timing and that chemistry and that flow, and that's what I think this movie does so well, is it just nails the kind of all of it gels really well, is what I'm trying to say, as I figure out the hand movements I'm trying to do.
The reveal of his parents is kind of a nice moment too. Where like whatever that lottery is that nobody ever wins, that they've won twice. The Publishers
Clearinghouse, they won it twice.
There we go.
I was wondering if that joke was going to land for you, because growing up in America, you would see the Publishers Clearinghouse commercials constantly for your entire life, and they come with the balloons and the big check, and everybody comes up, "Yeah, I won $1 million, Publishers," and like, the people that win it always look like regular people. It's always people like in their bathrobe with no shoes on, and they're like, "I won $2 million. Yeah." The idea that not only did a person win it that you have met, but they won it twice, is like extending like so far past incredulity it to be ridiculous. So her delivery of like, "You won Publishers Clearinghouse."
Yeah, and they've won the lottery like 3 times as well, with tickets that he totally must have forgot that he bought. Yeah, like I like that dynamic between the husband and the wife there, because the husband is very clearly correct. He did not buy these things.
No, it has to be coming from Tom Cruise's character. Like it's
from Roy Miller or whatever the hell he wants to call himself this week, and him literally just making sure they're okay is a really nice touch of. Yeah, he went to war and he never came back. It's like he didn't come back because he was ghosted by the CIA and turned into a secret agent.
And I do like the through line through the whole movie of if they say they're going to keep you safe, they're going to kill you. Which
if they keep repeating safe and secure, that means you're going to die.
And like they turn it on him at the end of the movie. We're like, "We're just going to bring you somewhere, like let you decompress and just keep you safe." And he's just like, "Oh no, I gotta go. Yikes."
I do like again, I think the movie should be like 30 minutes shorter, but I like the Cameron Diaz flip, where she's the one who drugs him, but then when he's waking up in the car, he says, "What day is it?" And she says, "Someday," which is a really nice callback to the conversation on the plane.
Yep.
Of him being a realist, of like, someday is a secret word for never. Like, really is.
Yeah, and then I wish she had a better line. So when they're on his secret island, I like his line of like, "I can disarm a bomb with like a bobby pin and a
yes, because he changed their clothes in the dark with a bobby pin and something beginning with a J. Juicy fruit.
Junior mint, because it's such a weird pull. And she repeats that line back to him later, but she doesn't get a punchy enough line, and I wish she had a better line that was as ridiculous as his was to give to him. I feel like that's like a small missed opportunity. Yeah.
Nice car, though.
That's a great car. I'm not a car dude, as it's a
nice car.
We will probably talk about for the rest of this show, but like, that's a cool car. That's a great car. Yeah. I really liked this movie. I was going in not I mean, you don't watch a movie with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz and expect it to be bad, but I don't think I was really expecting a lot out of it. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, here's like a fun little romp, ha ha ha." but like this was a good movie. Like I was really pretty blown away with this movie, and this is definitely one of those ones that I'd be happy to put on in the background as I'm doing other stuff and be like, yeah, those are some good lines. This is a fun comedy movie, a recommended film overall.
We also totally didn't talk about the ex-boyfriend, by the way, who is
the firefighter.
Who's kind of funny and dumb in his own way, and I like the fact that like he gets shot in the leg, and Roy knows. He's like, look, he can't pass his exam. He's just going to get a promotion. I shot him in the leg through and through.
Boston's newest true blue hero. So good.
And then she sees it on the news, and he's like, yeah, I mean, it felt like a bee sting. It didn't even really hurt.
Him like getting wheeled into the ambulance, being like, it didn't even really hurt. It was like a bee sting. It's like, shut up, dude. Jesus. Yeah. This movie was great. I really liked it. Unfortunately, this is like a shorter episode, but a lot of it is like, this movie was just really good.
There's just a lot of action scenes in this. Like, yeah. And like the conspiracy CIA stuff is just like whatever. It's like, who really cares?
Pretty
kind of
standard
thing.
Stuff at this point.
I mean, I think the only thing I would like to mention is, and it's played a little bit for laughs, but it is both of the, it's the she's constantly getting drugged part of it, and also the changing of her clothes thing is like, it is very male gazy / predatory sexually kind of thing. But I think they try and get away with that a little bit by flipping it around, like we said, so that she gets the same thing at the end. I'm not saying it justifies it, but I think they're trying to at least approach it with a measure of decorum in that sense.
It feels very 2010, where like, if you're making it now, it'd probably be pretty different, or at least if it was the same, it'd probably be addressed differently. But yeah, it was very much sort of like, yeah, you're not wrong. That's a good point.
We didn't talk about the ending sequence either. The pre-credits roll, where his parents won tickets to South America.
Yep, very, very clearly like it's sort of a sweet moment, because it seems very much like Roy is gonna try to reconnect with his parents now that he is out of the system, but the just his dad just being like, I didn't buy those.
I didn't order no tickets. Yeah, you must have done.
Molly, I didn't. Come
away
on
that computer.
That's so good. Oh man, yeah, really great. Do you have any other final thoughts here for Night and Day?
The funny thing is, I think I enjoyed talking about it more than like at least the back half of the movie. I enjoyed talking about it with you more than I enjoyed watching it. Because it did feel like that back half just dragged a little bit. Like, in all honesty, you could have got rid of the Italian arms dealer completely from the entire sequence.
When they get to Salzburg, there's like some slow scenes where she's enjoying the hotel room, which is fine. He is in the hotel room next to her, and they're having kind of like a quiet moment on the balconies, which is fine. But I'm not sure that I loved the like will he, won't he section of, is he going to sell out Simon, Feck, and the Zephyr? Is he actually a bad guy? It's like, no, of course he's not. Like, there's been no confusion about where he aligns himself in this whole movie. So like, of course he's not going to go sell the Zephyr to anybody. Like, he's probably just going to go get info. So like, that to me, the whole Salzburg part kind of, I agree with you, was kind of a slower portion that maybe could have been tightened up. And the action scene we got of him on the roof wasn't maybe as cool as I was expecting it to be. And what's her name? June talks to Viola Davis's character and like tries to make a deal, and all that is like, okay, yeah, like this is fine, but this whole sequence is odd, I think. So, yeah, I agree. Let's talk ratings here real quick. Rotten Tomatoes, 52% on the tomato meter, 49% Audience score, that's way lower than I would have given it. IMDb is 6.3 out of 10, and Letterboxd has 2.8 out of 5. All of that is way lower. Now I'm in like the 7.5 out of 10 range. I'm in that like really solid, this is a good film. Nothing outstanding, clearly nothing terrible or even middle of the road. Just a really good, solid movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably like a 6-ish on this, just for the length, how I feel it doesn't need to be. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid watch. Like, you can definitely, especially if you have like a lazy summer afternoon where you don't have anything planned and you just want to watch a dumb action movie.
Exactly.
This goes right in that slot for me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's our episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Boy.